I feel like, what's that dude's name again? That actor who always says, wow.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Will. No.
I have no idea. For some reason, all I can think of is all right, all right, all right, but it's not the same actor.
No.
I was like, which actor? I was like, that guy.
Owen Wilson.
Owen
That's
Wilson.
the dude.
There we go. Yes. Wow.
Wow. Hi, welcome to the Rewind Ghosts. Ghouls. What the fuck?
I put it in your head and now it's not gonna leave.
We were deciding between ghost or ghouls.
Ghouls is obviously better. You came up with like the perfect name right away.
Why, thank you, love. Yeah, so welcome to the Rewind Ghouls. We are here today to bring you entertainment and to talk about Our Flag Means Death.
Yeah.
It
means gay.
Our flag means gay. What? I mean death.
I mean death.
Yeah.
So I'm River.
And I'm Liz.
And this is our very first episode. And we are going to be talking about the very first episode of Our Flag Means Death, which is the
pilot.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to start us off, love?
All right then. So we're starting at 1717, the golden age of piracy.
Hell to the yeah.
My favorite era.
I love that we both like put that in our notes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's so good. Like, that's just like the best way to start a show.
It's
like,
really good, and things did not go as planned.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're following Stede Bonnet, who left his very mundane, ritzy life to find adventure out on the sea.
Yeah, he wants to become a pirate. And so he gathers a crew. He just tries to live his life as a pirate. And so he wants to pillage and all that stuff, but he's very inexperienced.
I was going to say, does he really want to pillage?
Wow! I'm not sure. I'm sure he wants to, because he doesn't really know what it means.
Yeah, I think he just likes the idea of like being a pirate captain, but he kind of isn't the best at it.
So the episode starts off with Frenchie singing his lovely, lovely optimistic song.
And then the crew is like betting on the side and complaining about how there's like a lack of pillaging and pirating and no killing.
Pete is the one who's moaning the most. English.
Enter Stede Bonnet, and this is a mood.
Yeah.
He comes out with his like real, like it is a fashion moment for Stede Bonnet. His
outfits are on point.
They really are. It's like this teal like get up. I don't know. He just looks amazing. His hair is amazing. He just looks on fire.
On fleek. Yes, girl. Yeah.
He does not look like a pirate captain though.
Oh no, he doesn't.
He does not.
Also, I really love how throughout the episode and throughout the whole season, there's these little rainbow light leaks.
Yeah, I love that.
Did you not notice that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
The camera picks it up throughout, and there's just little rainbow specks in there. I don't really know. Is it called flares?
Yeah.
It's kind of like foreshadowing because
gay.
It's very gay. Am I right?
Yeah, sorry. Spoilers, guys. This is a very gay show.
It is. But that's why we love it.
Yeah.
People are bitching about not having pirate activities.
Mm-hmm.
So Stede is like, all right, what do I always say?
If we're sad, if anybody is, what does he say? Like something like, if anybody's ever having like a mood, he's like, we talk it out as a...
We talk it through as a crew.
Talk it through. Sorry, yeah, you do it.
Frenchie's at first like, we bottle it up.
We bottle it up. He's like, no, that's not good for anybody.
Stede is very, very excited to raid the ship, and there's a fisher's boat coming. Is that an English word?
Yeah, it's like a fishing boat. He's like super excited. It's this tiny little fishing boat, and he's just like hella excited.
Yeah, so he's trying to go down there on this rickety ladder.
On the Revenge.
And the fishermen have to hold it down because it's too wobbly for him.
So they're like helping him as he's going down.
Yeah, they're helping him to get on their ship. When he enters, he's like, hi, my name is Stede. I'll be your robber here today. With a smile on his face. Like,
He's so
that's
cute.
not how you do it, sir, but okay. Sure.
The whole thing is just a mess. You even have in your notes like where he like almost trips. He's like, "Oh, my buttons."
Oh yeah. No, when he's going back up, he's like, "Watch my buttons," because he just cares so much about his outfits.
Yeah, exactly. And then he
No, he
like,
nearly trips, and then I wrote down "gay gasp" because
yeah.
he's like, "Oh."
Okay, so he wants to pillage from this this little fishing boat, and he steals a plant.
Oh, and the fisherman is at the end. He's like, "Take care of my plant."
Yeah,
It's
and
so
he's
sad.
I know, and he's like, "Good luck with your fishing," and then he
Yeah.
steals their plant, and then is like, "Hey, good luck."
Well, ta yeah. And then we get a little bit of an overview, kind of what life's about.
Yeah,
He's explaining to Lucius
how
that
how his
he,
methods are different than other captains, and like that he pays them a weekly wage and has like
yeah, exactly,
amenities, and then you get this like really cute like different scenes.
uh-huh,
You have like
the ballroom.
ballroom, the rec room.
Yeah, fuck this fucking game.
Who says that again?
Pete.
Oh, of course, Black Pete.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also really loved how Steed sits down and then immediately stands back up again.
That's so funny.
Just for a dramatic effect or whatever, I don't know. And he's like also like, and I have a library, although you are the only one who's taken me up on the offer to just read.
And then Lucius is like,
and he's like, well,
only you and I can
yeah.
read. And then he's like, is that so? Oh, are you
Wait.
are you sure?
Oh wow.
Like, yes, sir.
Fun fact, Steed Bonnet really existed in the golden age of piracy.
Yes.
And the real one actually also paid his crew a wage in real life. So I think that was really cool because that was not the norm back then.
No, not at all. He's just like such a sweetheart. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that I love in this very first episode is you see just how sweet and kind he is. Like he's not
He has a soft heart.
And you could tell too, it's like he really wants to be like a good pirate captain. He just isn't cut out for it exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crew is very onrustig. What's that word?
Like they're annoyed. Like mostly they're just like some of them are happy that they're getting paid. Some of them really just think he's like, well, I think
he's a joke.
He's a joke.
A joke.
He's a joke. And, they're like talking about things that they don't do that like most pirate ships do. One of the things is,
for one, they don't even have a flag.
Yeah, exactly. So I forget who says it, but someone says like, for one thing, we need a flag. And then Steed comes up with this idea of like
arts and crafts time, everybody.
Yeah. And so he gives them a bunch of like random fabrics.
Yeah.
And then tells them to sew. And they're like, we don't know how to sew. And then Roach.
Yeah, he's like, each of you can make a flag, and the one that's damn, I forgot the quote. But
the one that's the best.
The one with the best flag will be the winner.
He kind of makes it like a competition between them.
Yeah, exactly. So they start arts and crafty.
And then like the moment where Roach is like, well, because he's like, no, you guys never sewn? And Roach goes, I have. And he's like, oh, what did you sew? And he's like, well, I sewed my arm back on.
Yeah.
And then he shows his scar like
this
on his
really badass scar
like,
around his upper arm.
Yeah.
Shoulder area.
Yeah, it's like entire shoulder area.
Like hella badass. And Steve's like, oh, okay.
I think for me that's probably like my first like unhinged Roach comment.
Yeah. We have some things planned at the end of each episode. We want to do like our unhinged Roach moments. Luscious Lucius moments.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you called it. And
Gymtastic moments, just because Jim is such a fucking iconic character.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And, Steed just has like crazy ass fashion throughout the entire thing. And I think it's good to touch on it. It's fancy fashion for Steed Bonnet.
Definitely. Also, did you notice that they had an entire ass blanket fort on the ship's bow?
No. What?
When they start doing their arts and crafts time, you see all these blankets hanging there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, before they start sewing, did they just make a whole ass blanket fort?
I really hope that's what they did. That's so cute. And also, I don't know, you probably didn't watch Game of Thrones, but there's a character from Game of Thrones called Hodor.
Hodor.
who plays in this. He's the big guy. What's the big guy's name?
I don't know. I never watched it.
No, from Our Flag Means Death. The blonde.
Oh, Wee John.
Wee John. He's from Game of Thrones, and like one of
Oh.
my favorite moments with him, and the scene is like he's wearing like he has like a fabric draped over his head,
Yeah.
and he's so cute.
And Steve says something like, "Don't you look fancy?"
Oh yeah, of course he would.
And Wee John is like, "Yeah, I used to sew with me mother."
Aw, he's
Sorry
so
for the
cute.
butchering of the accent there.
No, it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah, they start being rockety and Steed is off, and then Buttons.
Wait, before that though, Steed's like walking around them like a teacher, like
Oh,
how a
yeah.
teacher would in an art class. He's like, very nice. Yes. Oh, look at you. Oh, and then
Yeah.
he goes off with Buttons.
And then they are planning some mutiny, so Buttons is being a little snitch.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Mutiny is a brewing."
Yeah, I love that. He's okay, but before that too, when they're talking about the flags, like I guess it's like in between the mutiny conversation.
Yeah, it's in between.
Frenchie's like making his flag, and his flag has a cat on it, and they're like, "Cats aren't scary." And then we should put in the audio of Frenchie going, "Cats are very scary because they're witches and they've got knives in their feet."
Yeah, exactly. The exact quote is, "Cats are terrifying. Everyone knows that. Because they're witches and they got knives in their feet."
Okay, sorry. I thought I got the right one. I thought I
No worries, no
quoted
worries.
it. This is what happens when you have ADHD.
I'm sorry for correcting you. I feel like
No, I love
you
it.
stuck up bitch like that.
No, you're. Did you just call yourself a stuck-up bitch?
Yeah.
I think anybody
On the
that
air
knows-
also. River's headphones are falling off.
like I do this thing where when I laugh, I just like move things around.
Yeah.
I'm wearing some. Oh, anyways.
You're getting all fidgety and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Frenchie asks, I think we John, to pass some black thread. He's like, "Cheers, my dears." Frenchie's just so fun.
Yeah, he is. He's also in Game of Thrones, actually. For
Wow.
a minute there. Like, I have no idea what this reference is, but people that watch that show will know. Anyways.
There's also rainbow lights again.
Yeah.
I noted every rainbow light down. I was like, rainbow lights.
No, that's good. That's probably like a small hint because we didn't know. While watching the show, we didn't know exactly
how queer it would be.
Yeah, like we had heard some stuff. Maybe there was like hints of it, but we didn't know how far they were going to go. Because some shows either totally embrace it or they just hint at it, and that's always kind of hard.
Some shows also promise it, but then don't really do it anyway.
Yeah.
Which I think is called queerbaiting. And so everyone was really scared for that in this show.
Yeah.
So nobody was
expecting
felt free. Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm too how do you say that? I don't want to believe that this is going to happen."
Yeah. Just in case they didn't want to get their hopes up.
Yeah, they didn't dare to let themselves believe it.
Yeah, and
especially when stuff will happen, like what we'll touch on. But when it does, people on Twitter and stuff were just like, "Wow, I didn't expect this at all. I didn't want myself." And they rewatched it again because they thought, like, "Did I hallucinate this, or this is really happening?"
Yeah, exactly. No, I was hella shocked too. Like, I literally squealed. I squealed. We'll get on that.
Yeah,
later.
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but all we're trying to say is if you're into queer stuff, like this show has it, and it's done in such a beautiful way, like such a fun, beautiful way. But yeah,
it's very wholesome, I suppose.
I really like this part with Black Pete right before Buttons talks about the mutiny. He's like, "Oh, I guess it's time to kill the captain."
Yeah, just casually.
Casually, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I also love how Jim's just casually sharpening their knife while they're making the flags.
Yeah, and then they're like talking about who would be best as like captain and stuff, and someone's like, "Well, Jim has the most experience."
Yeah.
And then someone's like, "Well, Jim's a mute, so you can't really like
No offense though. I think it was Pete who says that to Oluwande, and he's like, "Whoa, none taken."
Oh,
because I know your mates.
Yeah.
Even kijken. Oh, Ik ben veel te ver, of niet?
Oh yeah, so this is where Buttons is talking about mutiny is a bruin, and then
Yeah.
Bonnet was like, or Steed is like, well, why? Like, why would they do that? And he's like, well, because the crew thinks you're weak and have a soft underbelly or something. No, you said it better.
Because you're weak, soft belly, yellow.
One more time for the people in the back. I really love it when you do that. That's my favorite.
Because you're weak, soft belly, yellow.
You do good, Buns.
He has an amazing accent. All the while, Lucius keeps writing because he has to note everything that's happening on the ship. And so Steed is like, wait, stop writing. And so Lucius is like, stop writing.
Yeah.
And he rips out the paper. He's like, no, I don't want this to be in any book ever.
And he's like, but you told me to write everything down, and that's what I was doing. And then he walks off. He stomps off like real gay, like, because he even does like, huh, like a huff. And then he storms off.
Lucius is so iconic.
And then he's like, well, and he goes to the crew and he's like, well, Buttons told him. I'm still in, by the way.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, I'm still in, by the way.
I'm still in, by the way.
And then they start talking about who can
like a real shady bitch, though. Let's just be real. Like, that's a real shady bitch move. Like, storms off, goes and talks shit behind their back, and then's like, I'm in on this. Let's get rid of this guy.
Yeah. But then someone notes, like, okay, but who's gonna talk to us at night then if we kill the captain?
Yeah.
Because Steed's like the fucking cute dad that he is. He talks to them.
Reads to them at night.
Yeah, he reads to them at night. It's so fucking cute.
And then, well, someone's like, well, Lucius can read. And then someone's like, no, but he can't.
But can he do the voices?
Yeah. And then they keep talking over and over each other about like,
do this.
Come on, just try it. Do the voice,
do the voice, yeah.
And then he gets flustered. Lucius gets really flustered, and then he does it. And I can't do it justice, so we need to put like an audio clip in right now.
Do the wooden boy. Oh, I'm a little wooden boy, and my legs are sticks.
It's so good.
And then they're like, okay, no, he's not gonna do it. We can't kill the captain.
Yeah. They're basically like putting it on hold right now. They're like, we don't have to kill him right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then they suddenly see that there's a big ship approaching.
Well, Steed sees it at first in his looking glass thing. How can I love pirates so much and not know the word for that?
Are you talking about his
Yeah.
They're called telescopes.
Yeah, the telescope thingy. But I don't think it's really called a telescope, though. Anyways, he sees a ship, and he's like, ooh, that's a big ship. And Buttons is like, aye. And so they go to the crew, and Steed says, like, he tells them that there's a big ship. And I think Frenchie is the one who's like, is it really a big ship this time? And Steed goes to answer.
No, it's Roach. And he goes, Steed goes to answer. He's like, I don't want to hear it from you. I want him to tell us.
Yeah, he's like, no, I didn't ask you. I asked Buttons.
Yeah, shut up. I know you're the captain or whatever, but hush your face.
Yeah.
I guess it's like another unhinged Roach moment.
Roach is awesome.
Yeah.
And then they are like, can we go fight them? Steve's like, yeah. And then Wee John asks if they can light it on fire. And Steve's like, I'd be disappointed if we didn't.
Aw, I know. I love how he's like, yes, all your ideas are great. Good job.
Yeah. And then Steed and Buttons are looking at the crew getting ready, and Steed's having this like moment like, ooh, this is getting really real, because everyone is
they're smashing
knives and
smashing watermelons, and like the juice is like spraying out, and then suddenly, as the juice sprays out, there's a flashback to Steed as like a boy.
No, but first, Roach, he's being really psychotic with the watermelon.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's like all of it's like super overwhelming. Oh, and also Buttons and his fucking teeth, fake teeth. He's like, I'm too old for, what does he say again? He's like something about
I don't know. It's his war teeth.
Yeah.
It's like a metal
they literally
pointy teeth that he puts into his mouth. because he's getting too old to really fight, so he has to go and bite people.
I know, he says something, he says it like in a very like really crude way. He's like, you never know when you're gonna have to bite some fucker's like throat out or something.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. And those teeth look, they're intense.
Yeah, you do not want those in your throat.
No, not at all. They look like
No.
they look like chaotic vampire teeth.
They're kind of like that dude from Sleepy Hollow, but then metal.
Yeah, yes, that. That.
Yes.
So during that, there's like watermelon juice spraying out everywhere, and then suddenly we flash to Steed's dad.
Flashback time to the Steed's dad being a fucking prick.
Yeah, and he's like butchering a chicken, I think, and then suddenly
I think, wasn't
blood.
it a bunny?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I just saw.
Oh,
I just saw blood.
I feel so bad for not knowing all these details
I
now.
don't think it really matters. It's just like the blood that sprays all over Steed's face,
Yeah.
and he's just like, ugh, you know, you see his little face like, oh no.
Did you know that kid is actually the kid of the actor that plays Steed?
Oh, he's like his real son?
It's his real son, yeah.
That is so, I love that. I love that.
Right.
Aw.
I thought it was such a cool little detail.
Yeah, Steed is like his son, or whoever played, like the kid that plays Steed as young
Young Steed.
young Steed is so cute. He's like just a precious little kid.
Yeah, and then
his dad's
dad
like
just stomps all over him practically.
Yeah, like there's this like really cute, I feel like we should probably put the audio of this in there at some point, like if we can, where his dad's talking about like his land, and like he's like, when you're older, this is all gonna be yours. And he's like, what do you think that makes you?
A lily-livered little rich boy.
Well, but first Steed is like, what's the word when you're like, when not grateful, but
Intermission while River thinks of the word.
like, what is the word? God dang.
Just some little noises from my rainbow slug.
I feel like he says something. It's not privilege. Anyways, you just notice how cute and sweet Steed is. His dad does say it makes you a
Lily-livered little rich boy.
yeah.
It's a very good tongue twister.
Yeah, try saying that 3 times fast. I'm
Exactly.
not gonna. Okay, and so because of this flashback, Steed like runs into his like captain's
cabin, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Jim and Oluwande enter.
Yeah.
And Oluwande is like, are you ok?
Are you okay? And then Steed's like, I just need a little refresher. It's been a while since I've done a raid or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, Jim can give you some lessons. And then suddenly Jim is just
Yeah.
like
Killing him everywhere.
yeah, like with their knife, like showing them different ways to kill. And then he's like, oh, you're dead. Oh, you're dead. Oh, you're dead. And then
Yeah.
he's like, oh,
There's your
there
balls
goes-
gone.
there's your balls. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
such
Oh,
a
there's a knife in your heart.
oh yeah, that's a good gymtastic moment right there.
Yeah, it really shows how badass Jim is in that
Jim
moment.
is the most badass. They're so badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it down like Jim's showing their kill moves like, and then sparkly emojis.
I love it. Okay.
Steed, at one point he says, some of us thrive on danger. And I was like, lol, Steed, sure. What the fuck? You sure thrive on danger?
I think it's funny. He's like trying so hard to fit in. It's like
he tries so hard and got so
far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Sorry. Listen, Linkin Park is the best, okay? I will stand by that till my dying day. So then suddenly the English ship, this big English
this warship, yeah,
warship approaches, and Captain Nigel, that's who is the captain of this ship.
Yeah.
He's like looking through
I just mentioned him as Badminton because I forgot that his name was Nigel.
Oh yeah, Captain Bagmignan.
Badminton.
Yeah. Nigel.
Fun fact, that's what we play every night. Badminton.
Oh, I love that. I also just wanted to call him Nigel because Nigel is such a shit name. Like,
yeah, true.
No offense to anyone with the name Nigel,
he really
but like
lives up to the name.
He really does. And like, fuck you, Nigel. Anyway, so he's looking through an telescope thing, whatever they're called.
One of his crewmates, he offers him the eye-looking glass. We'll just call it a telescope from now on.
I know.
Very sorry that it's not the right
we'll
word.
we'll look it up later. But like, my favorite is
he offers his telescope and Badminton, like the bitch that he is, he's like, no, I've got my own. And so I So someone covers his eye with a napkin or some shit.
Yeah. Like, so he can see better. He's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
One of the crew of Nigel is like, they don't seem to be quite experienced, and one of them seems to be a heavyset woman in a dressing gown.
Is that little
That was Steed. Because he changed into his dressing gown because he wanted to be comfy, I guess.
yeah, he was having a
And
moment, and then he
yeah,
told
and that's when Oluwande and Jim enter, and he's like, "No, this is my battle jacket.
yeah,
I find satin to be quite invigorating."
such a mood.
Yeah. Can I also shout a little fun fact here?
Yes.
Generally, pirate crews were actually a lot bigger than normal crews. They were much larger, if not 7 times bigger than a normal crew of about 17.
Oh wow.
So there were a lot more pirates than in another crew, and mostly it was because then it would be easy to overtake them.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would also manipulate their ships. They would build different things so they could carry a lot more cannons.
Yeah.
So that in battle they would have the upper hand.
Wow.
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 We're learning stuff.
I love how much you know about piracy just because it's one of your special interests. So it's like,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Okay, where were we?
We're at the part where they see a heavyset woman in a dressing gown, but it's actually Steed.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, little Steed. How does he?
I don't know. I forget what he says.
Little bonnet.
Little baby bonnet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, okay, and so if you don't get this by this particular interaction, they end up on their boat.
Which is so extra as well.
I
how they
know.
do it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah. So they ask if he can come aboard. The whole crew's like, no.
No,
Don't do
Steve's
it.
like,
And then
all right, sure.
and so they end up, the next scene I think is like them getting ready, like because they're trying to not look like a
Yeah,
pirate.
they're like, shit, we gotta look okay. And so
So
they have a little dress up party
Yeah.
from Steed's
Closet?
closet.
Yeah, they're all putting Seed's clothes on, and it's so cute. And they have those like
yeah.
ridiculous like old wigs.
Yeah, they're wigs.
I
Yeah.
forget what they're called. They're like there's a name for them, but the white wigs with the curls. Y'all know what I mean. They're ridiculous. They're sitting.
Before we get into this scene, I wanted to say that when they go to the ship, Badminton and his crew, it's very extra because they go over to the Revenge in a little dinghy with a whole ass band to play music for them.
Oh yeah,
To be like a little soundtrack.
I know. Okay, can we just say like, how cool would it be to have like a mini soundtrack wherever you go though? I don't know if I'd want a whole band of people, but like I just want something to just always have like music around me. Like I just want to like walk around and have like vibe the whole time.
Hey, do you know that there's earbuds?
No, I
and
mean
Spotify?
I don't mean like I mean like I want people to.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I was
no, I know.
I know.
I know. No, I want people to know to stay away from me. Like if I'm in a bad mood, I just want like like heavy metal to be playing,
like a doom song, like
yeah.
yeah. It would definitely make you feel very extra for sure.
I feel like it would make me feel so like powerful. It's like a power move. Anyways,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have a little tea party.
Yeah.
Or some
so they're
shit.
all sitting at like their dining room or kitchen area.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because Captain Nigel's talking to him and he's like, Do you remember the rowboat prank? Do you remember it? And Steve's like, No, I don't remember that. And he's like, Oh, come on, you remember. And then it flashes back to the rowboat scene. But like basically what it is little Steed is picking flowers like the cute boy that he is, and he's looking at the flowers, and then all of a sudden Nigel as a kid with like this other like
with
other
his with his gang.
His gang of minions.
Yeah. They're like, oh, baby Bonnet. And they run after him, and it's so funny because all the flowers are
you don't even
air.
see him, you just see like a poof of flowers. Poof.
Yeah.
And then he's running and running and running, and then he ends up hitting a fucking tree. He hits a tree and passes out. And when he wakes up, he's got his hands are like tied to the
they're tied to
the rows,
to the oars
of the boat, and so he's like, It's just like a shit prank.
He's sort of like forced to row the boat while they throw stuff at him.
Yeah, it's not a very good prank if you think about it. Like, he thinks it's hilarious, but in my head I'm like, that's just like sad.
Yeah, and Badminton's like, oh, that was so funny.
Oh, you know.
His voice is so, like, it's so extra.
It's a bit of fun, right? Just, and then
Yeah.
and then after they're doing, like, after he tells this story, you realize, okay, so that was his bully back in the day, and he continues to like mock his crew.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you have such a colorful crew. But I think that's meant to be racist because all the colored people are the the helps.
Yeah, exactly. And they also say something later too.
Yeah. Silence, slave.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone says, and you can see on Frenchie's face, especially, like he's not having it.
Yeah, he's real pissed off about it. And honestly, like, I didn't like that part particularly. But
no,
so he's talking about his crew, like, well, making fun of his crew and his boat. And then you can tell Steve, because he keeps talking about his boot. He keeps talking about.
Yeah, it's so tiny.
He's like efficient. It's very, and he keeps doing this thing.
Yeah, with his hands.
He's like so efficient, so tiny. And then Steed, heavy sigh. Would you like a tour? And then he's like, oh my god, yeah! Let me see the boat. Like, very gay, like, oh yes, of course, let's go look at your tour.
Oh, I just thought it was very entitled how he does things.
I know it is, but like, it's just like he likes his boat and he's jealous and he doesn't want to say that. Like, he doesn't want to actually say it. Like, you can tell he's like, I don't know, people like that, you can kind of tell it's a jealousy thing. And then as he's walking away, which I thought was really interesting, one of his crewmates says something. He's like, oh, don't worry, we'll be back on our smelly boat later or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so you don't like your boat either? Like, and that's kind of how I gathered that it was an exciting thing for him. And he wanted to make Steed feel small.
And then they are at his captain's cabin and he sees the library.
He's like, who brings an entire library at sea?
Yeah, it's so impractical.
What do you do if there's a storm? And then there's like a flashback of Steed like holding up all his books.
All his books, trying to save them in the storm.
He's like,
we've managed so far.
It's so good. Hold on. Oh yeah, and then during that whole thing, it like back and forth, there's the crew is talking about... Wait, no, you know this.
The crew of Badminton is bashing the flags.
Oh yeah, they find the flags.
And so it's like, oh, this is a big skeleton throwing up on a small skeleton.
No, I have it here. Like the first one. One skeleton is eating the tiny other one.
Oh yeah.
Were they cannibals?
Yeah, they were very fearsome pirates.
They were very like they were coming up with like this idea of like why they had the flags. They're like, oh, these are pirates that like we took down or whatever. So that's why we have these flags. And then he's like, this skeleton is vomiting buttons onto a skeleton. No more buttons. No more buttons. Oh, we need to put the audio of that whole scene in. It's so funny.
Never. I can't do that at all. I'll have to put in the whole episode if you keep going like this.
I'm sorry. I just think it's so funny. All right. So
no, it's really funny.
Skull, more skulls. Well, this one's vomiting buttons onto a skeleton.
No more buttons.
Get ready. Meow.
Truly, you've tangled with some fearsome outlaws.
Actually, everyone knows cats are very evil because they steal children's breath.
Frenchie's had enough, so he pulls away his flag. He's like, cats are terrifying and they steal children's breath.
Yeah. I remember. And then we go back to Steed and Nigel, and Nigel's like, oh.
And Nigel's like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, he's talking.
His silly laugh.
And he's like, I heard a rumor that you
left your wife and children.
No one can see how you just laughed, but if they did, they would.
I'm glad they didn't.
No, that was hilarious. Your face changed to match the laugh, and it was so good.
No, but the way Nigel laughs is just so funny.
So ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
So you know
that's the word. The way
Yeah.
he speaks is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And so like
You wouldn't say the rumor is true, right?
and then he's like, "Oh, it's true." Like you can just tell that he just was
Yeah, he's
so
like,
happy.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then in that scene where Jim showed all the kill moves,
Yeah.
Steed was like, well, can we do a little less of a lethal version? And then only one day is like, yeah, we can do the stun move.
Mhm.
You can stun people. And so Jim shows how to do that. And he's like, okay, do I need a sword for that? Or just any Oluwanda? He's like, yeah, any heavy object will do. So in this scene, you see Steed
Looking down.
keeps on looking at his paperweight.
Mhm. It's like a whale.
Yeah, it's a little whale, and you see that he's kind of like, shall I stun this fucking dude?
Yeah, bitch, do it. Like the
Yeah.
whole time I was like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And
And then Jim's had enough because the other crew, the badminton's crew, just keeps making racist comments.
yeah.
And Jim throws a fucking knife into this dude's hand.
Yeah, but it like cuts the teacup. First of all, he's holding
Yeah.
a teacup with one hand and it cuts it, and you don't realize how bad the damage is until you see.
Yeah, at first you just see the broken cup, and then it goes to his hand where the fucking knife is in there.
And then Lucius, gay faints.
Yeah, Lucius sort of faints, and panic, chaos breaks out.
Yeah.
Everyone starts fighting.
Yeah.
And throughout the scene, you also see Pete holding a little gun. So the tension is getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
And so when Jim throws the knife, that's like the bucket spills over.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck it. And then he starts like shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they hear the ruckus, Steed and Badminton. Badminton's is like, what is this? It's like, oh, it's probably nothing. Don't worry about it.
I do have to say this is probably one of Steed's more like brave moments
Uh-huh.
because he doesn't have very many in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this to me was one of his brave moments.
Yeah, so he goes to stun Badminton, and Badminton falls down. And you hear Steed like, oh no. He is a little bit freaked out,
Yeah.
to say the least. And so when the fight, you still see the fighting going on, and then the door opens and Steed's like, guys, can you come help here?
I used
And
the
so-
stun move.
Yeah, and so the fighting stops, and I think it's
It's Lucius and Olawanda.
Oluwande.
I always
Yeah.
Olawande. Sorry, I'm really bad with names.
So they go into the captain's cabin, and he's like, I used the stun move. And Lucy's like,
My favorite.
he's stunned
Yeah,
alright.
he's like on the table. The whole time, Lucius's face is just like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, what is happening? What is going on?" It's so good.
Can you say what he says?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, so Lucius is like, oh. And then he's like, yeah, he looks pretty stunned.
Because he's got a fucking
He's got a fucking sword through his
sword through his head.
head. Because when the fighting started, he unsheathed his sword.
Yeah.
And when Steed stunned him, he
It
fell
went-
onto his sword.
Yeah.
It went through his head. And Oluwan is like, okay, you want the crew to fear you, right? You want to take
You want their respect.
them to take you seriously. Yeah. Then you did this on purpose.
Yeah.
He's like, but I didn't.
He's like, no.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you
You did this on purpose.
So he uses that to kind of like gain their respect, and they bring Nigel's body out.
No, wait.
Oh, sorry.
At first, everyone is like, do you want to live? And Steve's like, I don't know. He's like, I said, do you want to live? I think so. Probably.
Probably. He's such a good character.
I stabbed him right in the face. Yeah, they take Nigel on deck, and the crew is pretty impressed.
They're like, "Oh, he did that? Well, I guess he can stay with us for a little longer."
Yeah,
And then they take
and then
two of the.
they asked Steed if they should let everyone go, and he's like, no. So they keep 2 hostages, and then
Yeah.
the other one is on a little dinghy back to the ship, and you see the other ship dudes look in like, oh, where's the captain? And they're like, oh, he's on the dinghy coming back. But little do
not-
they know that it's just some sacks of
It-
whatever it is.
It's 2 dead men and 1 living. Like they let one guy go, but they did the rowboat thing where they tied
Yeah.
his hands to the oars, like in the flashback.
Yeah.
A little revenge, yeah. Which is I
Yeah.
thought was perfect. Like that was my favorite Steed moment, like of the episode. That was my favorite Steed moment. Like he used
Yeah.
of the
Steed moment
of the day. Oh, also I noticed that one of the guys had the other flag on his chest, one of the cat flags. I don't know if you noticed that because
No?
when they put so when they put all the flags up,
Yeah.
I'm going a little. The cat one is different
Uh-huh.
than the original one that he was working on.
Yeah.
That one was on the dead guy on the boat. Going back.
Oh,
So I noticed that.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
gotta look that back now. But
It's almost
they-
like fuck you, like cats
Yeah.
are scary, bitch.
But they're sort of like dolls. They're homemade dolls, 3 of them, and then one of them is a real dude who is he's sort of chained up to the
Yeah.
oars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the heads fall off and he's that dude is
Oh,
like
yeah.
crying on the boat.
I love it.
And then they keep 2 hostages.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they didn't kill anybody. I forgot. I thought they did.
I don't think they did. It's just badminton that's dead.
Oh, okay.
Because they keep 2 hostages, and then Roach is like, it's always the quiet ones.
I love Roach. And then after that,
Yeah, Steed's having a little moment. He's weeping on deck.
I know, I saw that, and he's having like he's thinking about like his wife and
family.
kids
Yeah.
at the table, and he says something so sweet. Like after he
Uh-huh.
goes back, it's like my family's here now at sea.
Which is so wholesome.
I know that moment got me, and just it's so
Uh-huh.
beautiful too. Like the scene, yeah. This show is really funny, but also just like how beautiful some of the scenes are.
Uh-huh.
They really do a great job. Like the boat itself, like when they're showing off all the stuff on the boat, like oh my god,
It's
there's
really
some.
pretty. Yeah.
It is. It's super pretty.
Yeah, and then it's evening, so Steed is reading them Pinocchio. Which, by the way, Pinocchio is actually... Oh, I wrote it down, but it's all the way up here, I think. Pinocchio is actually written in 1883, so it's not... It doesn't
That's a writing
exist
error.
yet. Yeah, it's...
Yeah,
No, but they did that intentionally. They just wanted to make it more fun and didn't care
Yeah.
if it was already out or not. Because I think Oluwande always wears Crocs as well, which definitely didn't exist back then.
No, and that's the thing is like this show is so good. Like there's moments where they literally just make fun of themselves,
Uh-huh.
and like they're not really taking too much seriously, and I think that really makes the show.
Yeah. While Steed is reading Pinocchio, Wee John is crying, and I think that was that was really...
He's like the wooden boy. He did it. He did it.
Yeah, he did it, that little son of a bitch. And you also see Buttons laying in his hammock with Carl on his head.
Aw.
So that's our little introduction to Carl, the bird.
Yeah, Carl is so cute.
And also the hostages are sleeping side by side.
Yeah.
On each other's shoulder, and I think that was also kind of a cute moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how cute it can be because they are hostages, but it's like sweet.
It's a wholesome. It's like everything ended pretty well, and like my favorite after while he's reading, and like he does the actual cute Pinocchio voice.
Yeah.
That Lucius completely butchered. They're like they keep going like, oh, like they want more, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
I know you love it, but you've all got a big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like very dad like.
Yeah.
And
Night.
During this scene, because Jim's not out there while he's reading, Jim is in another room, and you find out, like you see like a wig,
Yeah.
and then you see like a nose
And a beard. Yeah.
and a beard, and then the camera kind of goes over, and you see that Jim is actually wearing a disguise,
Uh-huh.
and they're not a man. But you can also tell like right away, like they're not a woman either. It's like in between. Well, they call Jim a girl at first, but even Jim.
But you're getting way ahead though.
I'm sorry.
In this scene, you just see Jim taking off their disguise, and then Oluwande knocks on the door, and he's like, "I brought you dinner," and Jim's like, "Oh, thank God, I was starving."
Yeah. I think they say it in Spanish too, or something.
Yeah, I
Right?
think he calls something in Spanish, which I think
Yeah.
is really cool because I don't think he actually grew up there, but Jim did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was that.
Their relationship is really interesting.
Uh-huh.
And then at the very end, you can finish us off with how it ends.
All the 4 flags are hung up on the mast, which is such a dad thing for Steve to do. It's like the equivalent of hanging up your kids' drawings on the
Like, you can't
refrigerator.
pick, you just love them all the same.
Yeah, it's like everybody wins in this one.
Yeah. And it's just like such a wholesome end to the show,
To the
to
episode.
the pilot, and like, oh, I was in love, and then immediately watched the second one. But we can't do that. We have to wait. But
yeah, it was a really, really lovely end of the first episode. And I also drew that scene.
I know, I was gonna say
with the flags.
we have to post that on our Instagram.
Oh yeah, we should. Yeah, we have an Instagram which is called the Rewind Ghouls. But we'll have everything in the description. But I also wanted to say that David Jenkins retweeted my drawing.
Woo! I know. That was so
I will keep saying it because it's just like a peak moment of my life.
Listen, I get it. When Joseph Gordon-Levitt commented on one of my drawings, I was dead for like a week.
I can't join in your excitement because I don't know who he is.
Oh, okay. You've probably seen a movie or something with him. He's like this.
What's his name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Gordon.
Or Levitt. I feel like I always say it wrong.
Oh yeah, Levitt. Oh,
This
that
guy.
dude. No, he's from what's it called?
Lots of things.
Inception.
Yeah, Inception, 500 Days of Summer. Like, he's from like tons. He's also from Looper.
Yeah.
Oh, so good in that. Yeah, he's from a lot. He's done a lot of different things. He's also a writer. He played in 10 Things I Hate About You. Like,
oh yeah, he was the little brother, right? Or the
he was the one trying
a friend.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
he was
also
the
in
friend.
Snowden. We watched that one.
Yeah, he's in a lot of
while
things.
ago.
He wrote this movie called Don John, which I thought was super good. He directed and played in it.
Oh, nice.
But anyways, yeah. So he commented on an art piece of mine, and I literally lost my shit. I was like, "What the fuck?" And I think there was even a typo in his comment, but I was like, "I don't care."
Just me.
Yeah.
That's such a cool moment, though. It's like they're people, but it's just really cool when they see it because
they have so many people around them that and especially when they get big, it's hard to be noticed by someone that everybody is looking for their attention all the time. And so you unintentionally get their attention. It's like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's also what I really love about Our Flag Means Death, because the creator, David Jenkins, is really immersed into the whole like fandom, I guess, on Twitter, because he replies to a lot of stuff of people, and I think that's just very like a cool thing of him.
I know.
And like the other actors as well, especially Roach.
Yeah.
Samba Shrut. He's very, very interactive as well. Jim as well.
Yeah.
Fico Ortiz.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah. Uh-oh. I thought I lost you there for a second. But no, they're amazing. I honestly, like, it's really hard not to watch the show and then like want to know the people that play the characters. Especially later on, like other characters come in and are introduced. Like the show just keeps getting better and better. Like the first episode's like really wholesome and cute, and then like as it keeps going, it keeps getting funner and funner.
Yeah,
and Steed keeps growing, and the crew keeps growing. Like you can see their arcs, and it's great. Do you have like any favorite like moments from the show?
Yeah, I wanted to say a little thing like behind the scenes. Taika Waititi directed this episode, and this is, I think, the only episode that he directed. I think that's kind of like a little bit of a foreshadowing, because we will be seeing a lot of him in this.
We will be seeing a lot of him.
Yes, we will. And
wink.
I'm excited to get there.
Me too. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this first episode. Let us know if you are into the Our Flag Means Death show, or if you just watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
We love to hear it. And also, go Gay Pirates.
Woo! And we'd love to know your favorite moments of this episode
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us Tell us your
What
favorite
was your
moments.
favorite quote of this episode?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, and River, what was your favorite quote?
Oh my god, I have so many. There is just too many. Hold on, let me think. I think it's just when Lucius tries to do the
The little wooden boy voice.
I've got sticks for legs.
My
is so
legs are
good.
sticks.
Yeah. So I guess that. Because
For-
it's just hilarious.
Yeah. For me, I think it's a tie between I'd be disappointed if we didn't, and yeah, he looks pretty stunned.
And yeah, Lucius is a mood. Let's just be real. Like, he says a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
Oh, also, this isn't exactly a quote, but just the fact that, like, after he got pissed off at Steed, he huffs, then he goes and talks shit about He's like, I'm still in, by the way.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moment of
It was
the-
a
of
really
the
cool,
show.
really fun moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucius
just-
is a drama queen, but he's
Yeah.
our little drama queen.
I know. He's our little drama queen. I love him so much.
This entire crew is very lovable.
I know. I agree. Like, everyone, the entire cast is just like awesome.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's got a little bit of a found family in there.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I really love that trope. So
And the other thing is a trope that I really enjoy is forced proximity or
forced proximity.
yeah, like you have to be they're
they're on a ship together, so
yeah, and so like you have to kind of get used to everyone and you see them grow together, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited to go through the entire season with you.
I know, I can't wait for the next episode already. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, until next time.
Jojo, volgende keer bij ons.
Ta-da.
Alright.
Doei.
Doei.
See you later.
Oh, I like that one.
Pirates out.
Pirates out. Arr.